Hello, good morning, Nigerians. This morning I'm right on your screen with a guest, and just 2 days ago, all of you are already aware of what happened. A popular Nollywood actress by name Funke Akindele and her husband JJC Skills were arraigned at the court for violating lockdown order as part of policies to prevent spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, a lot of reactions have trailed it, and some of them in some quarters have been about legal perspectives or legal foundations for such conviction. Some are saying it is not right, others are saying, well, as far as she already pleaded guilty, it simply means the conviction is all right, all the same. But there are lawyers too who believe that regardless of the conviction, that certain things could still be challenged because they were still flawed fundamentally. I have rights in the studio. I mean, in his own house. We are not breaching any condition here. He's in his own house. I'm skyping in. Barrister Inibehe Effiong is one of the young and vibrant lawyers so far we have in Nigeria, and I want to bring him on your screen right now. Good morning to you, Barrister. How are you?
Thank you, Shehu. I'm fine. I hope
That's
you are
great.
fine too.
So, quickly, you are one of those who have condemned the outing at the courts where Funke Akindele was tried, and you believe that the decision or conviction of Funke Akindele cannot stand in law. Can you put more light into this?
The conviction is based on morality. It is based on uh, expediency and not law. If you read the charge that was filed against her by the Office of the Attorney General of Lagos State, for anyone that is conversant with the legal system, a charge has to be brought under a law. But when you read the charge against Funke Akindele, it purports to be based on a law. They reference three things there. The first is the what they call the social distancing directive of Mr. Governor of Lagos State. I'm quoting it verbatim.
Okay.
Social distancing directive of Mr. Governor of Lagos State.
Mm-hmm.
The second is the infectious disease emergency prevention regulations of
Mm.
2020
Mm.
that was issued by Governor Sanwo-Olu. The third is the public health law of Lagos State. But of those three things they mentioned, what they're actually charging her for is contravention of the social distancing directive, not the regulation, not the public health law. And for me, that is really strange because while the directive of the governor, the social distancing policy propagated by the governor is good and should be encouraged, the government cannot prosecute, the court cannot convict anyone for flouting it. So I realize that when I look at the charge and the law, that Funke Akindele was convicted for an act that is not a criminal offense under any law in Nigeria or in Lagos State. The social distancing policy is just advisory. It cannot be the basis for criminal liability or sanction. So when they cited the regulations, and you now look at that regulation, there is nowhere, not even one line, not a paragraph, not a sentence in the whole regulation that prescribes or states that gathering of more than 20 persons, or any gathering at all for that matter, is a criminal offense. There is no way in that regulation that gathering is prohibited. The public health law of Lagos State says nothing about coronavirus. It says nothing about that gathering while the pandemic is ongoing is a crime. There is no such provision anywhere under the law.
Okay, but one of the arguments against this position right now in the public domain is that the Lagos State Assembly already passed that bill and conferred the power on the courts and the governor to be able to convict anyone for violating such order. So does that
No,
still
that is
not stand as a law
disinformation.
on its own since the Lagos State Assembly already
No,
approved it?
no, that is clear misinformation. What the Lagos State House of Assembly passed was a bill, the coronavirus bill. To my mind, to the best of my knowledge, it has not been assented to by the government. And even if supposing without considering it was assented to, which I doubt, because that bill has not been published, it has not been gazetted, nobody has seen it. At least to my, I don't know anybody that has seen it. But that is even an academic argument because Funke Akindele and the husband were not charged under that bill, if at all it has been assented to. So for us to even talk about it is a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. What the governor signed was regulations pursuant to the Quarantine Act of 1926 and the Public Health Law of Lagos State. But note that there is a law in Lagos State known as the Regulations Approval Law. Section 1 of that law requires that all regulations in Lagos State must be laid before and approved by the House of Assembly. The regulations, the infectious disease regulations, which they claim give the governor the power to issue the social distancing directive, has neither been laid before nor approved by the Lagos State House of Assembly. So for a charge to be brought against Funke Akindele and the husband in pursuant to a regulation that has not taken effect, because that law that I have cited, the Regulations Approval Law, clearly states that no regulation shall take effect until it is approved by the House of Assembly. So as that today, the House of Assembly, to my mind, has not sat and approved the regulation, supposing that regulation is even valid. But furthermore, I have also made the point that under the public health law that they are talking about, okay, the power to make regulations is not vested in the governor, it is vested in the Commissioner for Health. If you look at section 53 of that law, public health law, so the governor has no power to make that regulations pursuant to the public health law of Lagos State. And people have now said, okay, how about the Quarantine Act? Good. The Quarantine Act in section 8 gives governors the power to make regulations, but it is conditional where the president fails to do so. Recall that President Buhari had delayed issuing regulations. It was when some of us started agitating and insisting that he should follow the process that regulation was issued after his speech. The president's regulation was signed and took effect by 11 p.m. on the 30th of March 2020. And my position is clear. Because Section 8 of the Quarantine Act that empowers governors to issue regulations makes it conditional upon the failure of the president to issue regulations. And the president has now issued regulations which are specifically, expressly, and unequivocally determine the question of what is to be done while the lockdown is ongoing in Lagos State. Because the president has now said this is what should be done and this is not what should be done in his own regulation. The earlier regulation of the governor went into abeyance.
Okay,
It became suspended.
let us leave the details of all of this but let's come back to this main issue now of Funke Akindele. Now that she already pleaded guilty, does it still mean anything was wrong with the process that convicted her?
No, what did she plead guilty to?
That she
I
violated
don't know what
order not to
that says what?
host a
That
party.
says what? What did she plead guilty to?
The charge
Because
against her, the one count charge.
what is the charge? And what are they accusing her of? Of holding a party?
Yes, which violates a subsisting order by the Lagos State government for people not to gather as a result of the need for people to have to observe social distancing.
That is ridiculous. It was in her house. It was not in a public place. As I am now, I am in my house. I can choose to cut a cake now and celebrate anything with people, with anyone that is with me right now. Can the police come and arrest me for that? I think that is the point people are missing. The charge against her is frivolous. It cannot be defended whether you are looking at it logically or legally. What they are accusing her of, I don't understand, because if they are saying that she held a party, are you saying that as you are now talking to me, if you are talking to me from your house, that the police can determine what you should do in your house? They did not charge her for inviting people to the party. I think that is where people are missing it. They did not also charge them for posting the video of the party online. They couldn't have charged them really, because it is not a crime. So if the argument is that they held a party in their house, I'll find that very strange. You get it? Because the party was not in a public place, it was in the privacy of their home. Are you saying that during coronavirus that families cannot mingle together? They cannot hold prayer, morning prayer meetings? They cannot eat together? That spouses cannot, have their privacy? That children cannot mingle with their parents? Or is it about the number of people that were there? How about families that have more people? But what I'm saying is that those who left their houses to attend the party, of course, they may have one or two explanations to offer. I'm not saying they have committed a crime, really. But what I'm saying is that if the argument is that strangers or guests who did not live with them attended that party, that is not the charge against them. They were not charged for inviting people to the party. And you cannot convict somebody for holding a party in his house. It would be strange, it would be ridiculous, unheard of, for the government to say that because of coronavirus, families should not do anything in their house. I mean, I don't understand. I have thought about it. I am unable to understand what exactly the allegation or the charges against them is.
Okay, let us look at this. If somebody pleads guilty to a charge, not necessarily an offense, because we don't believe it's an offense yet. If somebody pleads guilty to a charge, can people who are worried about legal implications of it going forward, because there's stare decisis and the rest of the legal principles like that, if people are worried about the consequence of such conviction, can such be appealed or rivaled in any judicial process? Because the person
Why not?
so affected
Why not?
has already pleaded guilty and has moved on
To what? To what? You can
to the
only plead
charge.
guilty to a crime. A charge is a piece of paper. You get it? It is not a piece of paper that results in the conviction. It is what is written on the paper. And what I'm asking is, what
That's
did
the
they plead
charge.
guilty to?
Mm.
Yes, what is the charge that they pleaded guilty to? For gathering with 20 persons, and I've told you that is not a crime under any law. You get it? So as far as I'm concerned, because the entire trial, from the charge to the filing of the charge to the arraignment to the appeal to conviction and the sentencing, everything that has taken place in this case is a travesty of our legal system. So,
Okay, so
I am of the view that they have the right to appeal, and it will not be the first time that has happened.
now what I'm trying to learn here is, if somebody earlier pleaded guilty at the court of first instance, they might still go ahead and still appeal. Is it
You
possible?
can only plead, yes, because you can only plead guilty to a crime. Except you show me the law or the crime that they have committed, then the question of what they pleaded guilty to has to be answered. What did they plead guilty to? People are saying that they are pleading guilty to what? For being in their house? Were they supposed to be in the bush? What are we talking about? People are holding party every day in Nigeria. Birthday. People are celebrating their birthdays even while they are inside their houses. Is it because they are celebrities and we should apply the logic of the law differently? I don't understand.
But another angle to this is, well, another reaction that has also followed this outcome is people saying, "Oh, is it because she's not a pastor or an imam? What has happened to the pastors or imams who also congregated prior to this? They are not being arrested." I mean, do you have any moral response to that kind of comment?
Of course I do, but legally that is not a defense because there is what we call prosecutorial discretion, which is the right of the state to determine who to prosecute and who not to prosecute. But morally, if I have made the point that even as I speak to you now, people are still moving about in Lagos. It is really difficult to enforce the lockdown. Okay, one, because people were not really prepared for it. Two, a vast majority of people in Lagos, they have to struggle daily to earn a living. I'm not saying that coronavirus is not serious or should not be taken seriously, but the point I'm making is that it is difficult to have 100% enforcement. But if the government itself is determined, okay, to punish offenders, supposing there is even a crime or any law that says that doing so is a crime, for the government to be selective underscores the unseriousness and the insincerity of the government in the Funke Akindele case. And look at it, even the court they were arraigned, they did not observe social distancing. The court was jam-packed. In fact, more people gathered at the court to try Funke Akindele than the number of people that gathered during the birthday party.
Hmm.
So I see the whole case as just playing to the gallery. It is a trial that, like I said, that is based on morality, that is based on experience. It is not based on law at all.
All right, lastly, I'm going to ask.
Let me say this. I have publicly challenged my colleagues in the legal profession since yesterday that anyone that has come across any provision or any section of any law or regulation that prescribes that gathering of more than 20 persons is a crime should draw my attention to it. Till this moment, nobody has done that because there is none. There is none. But when people say she pleaded guilty, what did she plead guilty to? They were in their house.
But one of the reasons that people don't really want to take your position seriously, I understand, is that they believe that, or they know that Funke Akindele herself is a lawyer, and she must
She's
have
not a
understood
lawyer.
the implication
No,
of.
she's not a lawyer. It is part of the misinformation. I understand she's a law graduate. That doesn't make her a lawyer yet. But the law does not apply differently to lawyers. There is no special law for lawyers and a different one for the rest of the society. It is not about our status. Everybody should be seen to be the same and equal before the law. But that even supposing, let's even assume she's a lawyer for a second. Let's also agree that she knows the law. The question is, what law has she violated? Nobody has told me. So all those that are talking about the regulations or the public health law or the quarantine act are totally they have totally misapprehended the point, because those references, there is nothing in them, from the quarantine act to the public health law to the infectious disease regulation, nowhere in any of those.
Okay, let me ask you lastly, whether lawyers are worried about the outcome, because you are worried, for instance. And let's now talk about the legal profession. Are lawyers worried about this, or are they all applauding it? And if you are worried, for instance, you as a person, you are worried. If you're worried, uh, are you going to court? Are you going to be challenging this? I mean, because it affects the practice, the way you practice henceforth.
No, I cannot cry more than they bereave. I am not Funke Akindele. I am not her husband. I'm not their counsel. I can only offer my opinion as a citizen and as a legal practitioner. So I believe that the choices are for them to take. It is not for me. But I am worried as a lawyer that we are now living in a time where people are saying we should not talk about the rule of law. The moment you discard the rule of law, you have destroyed the foundation of a civil society. You cannot have a democratic country without the rule of law. So let us stop being sentimental. Let us stop this mob mentality. What Funke Akindele and the husband did but going public with their birthday party may be morally questionable. But that is what it is, morally questionable. The moment you want to elevate it to criminal liability, you must codify it. You must expressly. It's not by deduction, it's not by inferences. It has to be clearly stated that any person that gathers with so and so number, so and so time, commits an offense, or their gathering is prohibited. Until the state does that properly, you cannot convict anybody. You cannot prosecute anybody. So for me, what the Lagos state government has done, as far as I'm concerned, is a total aberration. It is totally indefensible. There is no way they can argue this. Legally, there is no way.
Thank you so much, Barrister Inibehe Effiong, and thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you go now. That's it from Barrister Inibehe Effiong, people. And if you have any uh, question, query, or whatever response to any of the things he said, please put them in the comment section. I'm sure he's also going to be reading it, because this has implication for the rule of law, for those lawyers who are concerned about rule of law and constitutional implications of verdicts made by judges or magistrates at various courts. And that is exactly why Barrister Inibehe is also concerned that this might, by implication, by way of implication, begin to set a new precedence of for how things like this are handled going forward. And that's why he decided to bring that matter forward. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm going to leave you in closing with Idris Abdul Karim, Dede Mabiaku, and Mike Palm singing about COVID-19 lockdown. Bye for now.
All of us inside together. Oh yeah, where the stimulus package for the suffering and smiling masses.
Me no be everything. I preach reality. Naija make you shine your eye. Coronavirus, know this man. Stay at home, stay at home. Naija make you stay at home. Stay alive, stay alive. Corona konialewa, konialewa. Coronavirus shut down America, shut down in Europe, shut down in Asia. Wake up Nigeria, don't be ignorant. Isolate yourself, beware of coronavirus. Salamu alaikum yan wana daga harewa. Coronavirus malam Umaru gaskiya ne. Ku tabbata kuna wanke hannun ku ko da yaushe. Ni ne Idrisa na kawo muku sako. If you wake up my brother, make you wash your hand. If you no get soap, sanitize your hand. Advance yourself my brother, make you no shake hand. Toba fún ẹ lọ́wọ́, fún ọ ní ẹ̀bùn. Money no be everything. I preach reality. Naija make you shine your eye. Coronavirus know this man.